don't. Okay.
We're back.
Have we started?
Yeah.
Can you tell by my walk? Can you hear my talk? I'm barely cool, barely cool, barely cool, barely cool. Can't you see in my eyes? It should come as no surprise. I'm barely cool, barely cool, barely cool. I'm barely cool, barely, barely cool. I'm barely cool.
Welcome back to the Barely Cool Podcast. My name's Ben Routley. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm the other one.
And today, and as you learned last week, I became a father recently.
True. Well,
And I know
Not that recently.
Well, yeah, 2 months ish. And because of that, I know everything about parenting. But the other co-host of this podcast maybe doesn't. So today we're going to do a training regime in the form of trivia questions
I'm
about
so excited.
parenting. What?
I'm so excited.
Perfect.
You had this
I've prepared
planned?
some trivia questions for you.
Dude, I'm locked in.
You locked in?
Yeah, we went to McDonald's, and originally I thought maybe this episode would be like trying the new international flavors. I ate every one of them before
He ate them all.
we recorded. I didn't order all of them. I got the McPizza bites, which suck so hard.
Do they suck?
Yeah. They were not... Okay.
Okay.
They were very dry.
Okay.
There were 4 of them. It was like $1 a pizza bite.
Okay.
And just nothing about it was good. They're
Okay.
also kind of cold.
All right.
Anyway, so we didn't do that. And I was sitting here like, what are we going to record? Turns out old Benny's got an idea.
I got a couple questions
Okay.
I actually have to give credit to my wife for this because
She's been carrying this podcast.
yeah, this morning she was like you should ask, like, you should pretend like you know everything, like that should be the bit. You know everything, but Judah doesn't. So you should ask him a bunch of just like generic parenting stuff.
Baby questions.
See if he friggin' knows it.
Okay.
See if you friggin' know it.
I think I know it.
All right. It's not multiple choice.
Okay.
So you already got to lock in here.
Yeah.
First question.
Yeah.
Approximately.
Oh my gosh.
He already ate.
An
Right
appro-
name
an
here, but I don't even know the answer
An
to that one.
approximately question implies toughness.
Not necessarily.
It's not just like you know.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Approximately. About how many
Yeah.
wet diapers
Yeah.
is considered normal on a baby's 6th day of life?
So I've heard that for the first little bit, you're changing a diaper like 8 to 10 times a day. That's what I would answer. Like, do I need a single number? Because I would say 8 to 10 times a day.
There's a single recommended amount of wet diapers. I'm not talking necessarily poopy diapers. So diapers as a whole. I'm talking just wet diapers.
Oh.
How many pees do you need in a day for your 6-day-old baby to be considered well hydrated?
Okay, so already
Walk me through.
Yeah.
Show your work.
So
All of these questions have an implication of a show. I need to show your work.
So step 1, I already don't love the re-clarification because I can't do. This is where I'm already feeling like I'm out of my element. Do babies not pee when they poop every time?
They do sometimes.
Okay, because I'm like,
A lot of the time you get a pee with no poo.
yeah.
A good chunk of the time you get a pee and a poo.
But if you get like,
But sometimes, especially when they're first born,
it's just poo,
you get a just poo. At least that's been my experience.
and it's not wet. Like that wouldn't count as a wet diaper.
It wouldn't count as a wet diaper.
Okay.
In terms of like the line,
For hydration.
the line, like there's a line on diapers, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of how we measure whether or not it's wet. Has that line been changed at all? Because like, especially like 6-day-old baby's not like
I know, it's so fresh.
pooping like an insane amount. So it's like,
Yeah.
they can poop in the diaper and not pee, and it won't wet the line.
Okay.
So like,
During this little chat, my brain went from when you first described what we were talking about, my brain went, oh, dude, you're way too low. And now that we're on the other end of this chat, my brain went, I think I'm too high. So I still think 8 to 10 sounds right, but I'm going to go low, and I'm going to say 8.
8?
Yeah.
It's 6.
Oh!
But
okay.
It's 6. It's 6. It goes in order for the first 6 days of life. It goes generally in order of how old they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it's
Right.
6 to 8 on day 7 going forward. So you were kind of there.
Okay.
So I like 8 is acceptable. If you get 8 wet like we got 8 wet diapers on day 6 easily.
Okay.
So you're not wrong.
Okay. I like that.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
6 to 8. So it's like, technically, if I want to give it to, I could say, you could argue it's 6 to 8. So you're not.
I'm a little high.
Depending on the metric, who you ask.
You know what
you might
frustrates
be
me?
right.
What frustrates me a lot is when I said I'm thinking lower. I still went 8, but my brain said say 7. But I
That
went
would have
with
been.
8.
That would have been. I think if you said 7, I would have had to give you a correct,
Yeah. Okay.
because then it's like 6 to 8. Some
Yeah.
people say 6 to 8.
Give me.
The answer is technically 6.
Give
on
me
the
a half
6th
point
day
on
of
that.
life.
Give me a half.
I'll give you a
point.
half point.
Cool.
You know, let's take points.
Yeah. Mark it. Give me a half. That's like when
Judy,
you're doing
points.
you just did your pop quiz, and your teacher's like, okay, pass your quiz to the person on the right, and they're gonna grade.
Yeah.
And
My.
excuse me, Miss Winchester, Judah said 8. I don't mark 0 on that.
Even worse if it would be like, the answer, you said the answer was 6 to 8, but my person wrote 7. Is that
because he kind of like he is missing information.
Yeah.
So mark 0 on that.
give it?
Dude, you ever have that? Like, so mark it wrong. Like they're trying to get you
They
the wrong.
want, no, it's
Yeah.
like kids like
Yeah.
marking you wrong.
Whereas like
No,
the
dude,
teacher's
it's-
like, no, just give him a half, and you're like, but it's kind of like they fight the teacher.
It's nuts. No, I just had that in a university class. we had a project where we had to mark our peers' work.
Yeah.
Which is like, first of all,
Crazy.
this is university.
Yeah, what are we doing?
There are TAs paid to do this. Why are we doing it? So because of how stupid it is, my inclination is I'm gonna give them 100.
Yeah. Give him as
Like
much.
I'm not even reading it.
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah,
giving
it's
you
perfect.
I'm literally go 100.
Yeah.
And then like you asked me for my comments. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's exactly what I did. I didn't. I'm not gonna. You think I'm actually gonna mark this? No. I'm gonna give you 100. And I did. And then I found out that like certain like a buddy of mine, like I got 100. So someone gave me 100.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine got like 85. Like somebody actually like went in there and didn't just give him like a 9, like actually gave him like an 8.5 out of 10.
Well, you're kind of missing some work.
It's not quite that. Like
It's
give
an
him
A.
100, man. What are you doing?
It's an A, but like it, you're kind of missing that like extra to just get the above and beyond.
Yeah. So just give people full marks. With that being said,
Especially
not
for-
quite, you get half a mark.
especially for something that's subjective.
I just
Anyway.
like I don't know. It's
So
like it's
so mark
the
it
dumbest
0
thing.
or no? Okay, I guess.
All right, so 0.5 for Judy then.
Yeah, I guess.
Here we go. I didn't write an approximately here, but I'm gonna add one.
Oh, I hate it.
Approximately, how many times should a newborn eat in a 24-hour period?
A newborn?
Yeah, or like to at this. I mean, kind of just like a baby in general. Like how many? What should you be aiming for? How many times should they eat in a 24-hour
Okay,
period?
so this is what's fricking with me, okay? Because you said wet diaper for the
Okay.
first 6 days is roughly the day. So like if you're on
Roughly.
day 3, that's 3 wet diapers.
This metric never changes. It's the same always.
But then I'm like, well, how does that work? Because if you feed the same amount, how is that baby only coming out with
Because
3
their
wet
tummy's
diapers?
getting bigger every day. Their tummy starts like the size of a cherry, and then it gets a little bigger each
Yeah, but
day.
wouldn't that mean more wet diapers?
Yeah, they do have more wet diapers as they get older. And then
No. But when the tummy's little, like you're filling them up so quick, wouldn't they be pissing all the time?
I mean, I guess, yeah, but
like, where does it go if the
okay, I
rate
see what
of
you're saying.
feeding doesn't
I think
change?
maybe they like absorb more of it.
Right, because they're growing so quick.
See, now you've gone past the depth of my knowledge.
Isn't that like because you see my?
I understand the logic
Like
that
if
you're
you're
saying.
feeding them every.
What's that? Oh, niece.
Do you need help?
Oh yes, she's right. She's an important thing because for those first couple of days you're only producing colostrum. Your milk hasn't come in yet, and colostrum is like
It's
less volume.
Yeah.
Like when we would feed
your daughter
Lie with colostrum, it would be in like 3 ml syringes. And for reference, now she's eating. Today she ate 120 mils in
Okay.
one feed. So like that's the difference
Right,
in
so
terms
it's
of how
the
large.
volume
Once your
also
milk comes
changes.
in,
Yeah,
that's why they
yeah.
start having so much more because the volume changes
Right.
in milk. And then now, obviously, Nice goes from producing like probably 1 ounce per feed. Now it's like 3 or 4 ounces per feed.
And so, sorry, approximately how much time in between, or how many times?
Well, you can answer in either way. How many times a day, and then I mean the interval would be, how many times do you think it is? What would the interval be?
In 24 hours.
Thank you for your help, love.
As a newborn baby. I feel like, because I know a lot of people, different people do it different ways, right? Like different people, but a lot of people, they like it's on a schedule, so they do it timer wise. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah.
it's been X amount we're feeding, whether they're hungry or not.
Yep. That is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and okay, so I'm showing my work.
Show me your work.
When it was you and me and the fam, we went out for your birthday.
Yeah.
And we were eating Chipotle.
Yep.
And I believe what happened was, I want to say the phrase that was uttered was, we should go because she might need to eat pretty soon. And you said, she just ate not that long ago. And I think Anissa said, that was like an hour ago. Now, I don't think you're feeding a baby every hour, but I'm going to say every 2 hours, give or take.
Okay.
So that would be 12 feedings. That also sounds like a lot. So I'm going to round down because I got to trust my gut. I'm going to say 10.
Dude, the range is 8 to 12. You're bang on. You're bang
go!
on. 2 to 3 hours. You're bang on.
Huge.
You're bang on.
Huge.
That's
2
1
hours
point.
felt good.
That's 1 point. Yeah, 8 to 12 times in 24 hours.
Miss Winchester, he only said 10. So half point.
So should I give him half point? Because it's technically 8 to 12.
He's missing some information. No, full. Okay.
Dude, great job.
Dude, okay, that
Great
feels really
job.
good.
That feels good to get one
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It feels good. We're gonna see. I've designed this. I've designed this test in a way where if it's like when you fill out like a personality test, and it's like if you got 11 to 15 points, then
Yeah.
And if so, there's like
Yeah.
not ready to be a parent, pretty ready to be a parent,
Okay.
parent,
Yeah.
super parent.
Yeah.
And so far, you're on a good track.
I feel good.
You're doing
Now,
great.
for context, me and my wife don't have a child, but we have a lot of nieces and nephews. And so like some of this stuff just kind of, I feel like you just gain it through osmosis, you know what I mean? Just like being around. And that's what I was trying to put the pieces together from that conversation at Chipotle. And also I do vividly remember, like, I think when my first niece was born, there was a lot of talk around that. Like there was an app that they had where it was like, everything was scheduled.
Yep, we had the same. We had the same thing. We still have the same thing.
And I was trying to remember like what those intervals were, and I wanted to say it was 2 hours.
You crushed it. You're
But-
right on. You're bang
okay,
on.
I like
2 to
that.
3.
I like that.
2 hours is like typically I would say 2 hours is more accurate than 3. I don't know if we've
If you ever made
it to 3.
Okay, yeah.
Other than overnight.
And then,
Actually,
that's what was messing with me too, because I was like, but you sleep, like sometimes they
Yeah,
have those
but
long sleeps.
when they're first born, you
Yeah.
have to wake them up
yeah.
until they regain their birth weight. That's
Right.
another good question, but I didn't have that one written down.
I think I would know that because we talked
My
about that.
napkin. Yeah, we did.
You got another
did.
one right there.
All right.
You want me to grab it for you?
No, it's okay. Next question. You're off to a great start.
I feel good.
What is the ideal bathwater temperature for a newborn?
Oh no! Okay. Clarifying question.
Okay.
When I don't know the terms,
Okay.
so in my mind, okay, babies go newborn, infant, toddler.
Right.
And so at what point, how long is newborn?
I would sort of say 0 to 6 months.
That's what I was going to
It's
say.
considered newborn. That would be my idea
Right.
of what a newborn is. Niece, do you disagree? What's your thumb? One.
Out of the trenches at 3 months.
But that's not considered newborn anymore?
What would you call it? Is that infant?
Sure.
And
All
then-
right. So let's go. I'm pretty sure it's the same temperature, but let's go newborn.
Yeah.
Let's go like 1 month old.
And then, yeah. Well, and see, that's I understand it's a bit different because I'm
Yeah.
like, the difference between newborn and infant can't be that much. It's not like they're like, oh, they're 4 months. Let's crank it.
Yeah. For the sake of this test, let's use newborn and infant interchangeably
Okay.
as a 0 to 6 month
I
old.
am answering these also based around like I'm assuming your knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of basing it around your own child.
Yeah. What have I just experienced?
Yeah. Okay. Ideal temperature for bath time. So. Oh boy. Your child, I feel like, and a lot of babies, I always hear this. Oh, she's cold. And I'm like, so you want to heat them up, but we're not roasting them. We're not trying to make a soup.
We don't want to kill him.
We're not trying to, like in cartoons where like Bugs Bunny, he thinks he's taking a bath, but then they start chopping carrots in the water.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
We're not chopping carrots.
That would be
in
a
the water.
funny like little baby picture moment. You know what I mean? Your baby's in the bath and you're like, you got a chef
chopping
uniform.
carrots?
And you're
That
like,
would be very funny.
Celery.
Potatoes, maybe.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing, Bugs
Making
Bunny.
a stew.
Even the carrots don't throw off Bugs Bunny because he thinks they're just like, oh, a little dinner and a snack. And he starts chewing on the carrot.
Dude, that was a good impression.
Thank you.
Right there.
Okay.
If I close my eyes, that's Bugs Bunny.
So I'm bad. Temperature is a thing that really fricks with me. Okay.
Okay. I'll accept degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit.
Because and this is what I'm gonna
The
say.
answer in my head is in Fahrenheit.
They're so interchangeable for me. So
Okay.
if this is like actually my brain is stupid.
Right.
If someone tells me it's 60 degrees outside, I'm
Okay.
like, that's cold. I think outside temperature Celsius. Inside my house temperature is Fahrenheit
Interesting.
because that's just what the thermostat is. I do not know.
it could probably be changed to Celsius, can it not?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I do not
Fair enough.
know. Like literally, I know, and because we live in a basin, that also throws me off.
Right.
So like our basin is almost always like 67, which is
Right.
pretty cold, I think.
That's decently cold, yeah.
I've room temperature I think is like 73 in North America.
Okay.
Which is a little warm for me, but I'm also like I'm taking into account like a range because I feel like
Right.
Anyway, pool temperature is always Fahrenheit for me, so I think I have to go Fahrenheit.
Okay. The answer in my head is Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So I'd prefer Fahrenheit. I think I know what the conversion is.
So
I'm sure I could convert.
let me
it.
walk you through the steps. If room temperature is 73, water always feels colder than air. I feel like if you were to jump into a pool at 73, you'd be like chilly a little bit, even
Sure,
though that's
yeah.
room temp.
I
would
agree
say
with you.
even arguably a warm room temp. So I need to add, because I think there's no way you're bathing your baby at room temp. That's too cold.
Right.
We're going for like a lukewarm. I feel like
Okay.
tepid even, where you're
tepid.
just kind of like, I always see this. There's so much temperature feeling with like wrists. I feel like with a baby.
Okay, yeah.
You do the bottle
Wrist, elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, could also go along this train of thought. When it comes to pools, I'm a bit of a baby,
Okay. So you would categorize yourself with the infants as well.
and I want it.
What do you want your bathwater to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, because you don't want it too warm. I would say, oh, this sounds too hot.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking hot tub. Hot tub's closer to a bath than a pool is. Don't think pool, think hot tub. I have gotten into a friend's hot tub, and I like a hot tub around 103. It's hot.
Okay.
That's hot. You're not bathing a baby in that. I've gotten into someone's hot tub at 93 and went, are we bathing together? But that's also as an adult man. So I think a baby's got to be at, I'm going to say
Well, speaking of the baby, there she is.
88 Fahrenheit.
88 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Niece, what's the ideal temperature for bath water?
I have no idea what the answer is.
Could be a little chilly.
It is
Does Juden, how do
97 to 100.
Holy, that's warm. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was even
37 degrees Celsius,
my
roughly.
my above
Spotty temp.
temperature. Like I said 88 to be safe, but I was also like it could be as high as 93. So I was off on that. Okay.
It's a little hotter than you think,
Yeah.
but not so hot that it's like over. Because body temp, right? Like if you take a baby's
Yeah,
temperature,
yeah.
they're gonna be like 35 to 37.
Okay, can I ask you a question? How long is bath time?
I mean, depends how efficient you are.
Because I'm like, if I'm in a hot tub at 100, like I'm not in there for like 30 minutes.
No, bath time's not 30 minutes unless you suck at doing bath time.
Right.
I don't think a baby would give you 30 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes? How do you test that the water's right temp?
We went over this.
It's wrist, wrist or elbow.
I use a thermometer.
Because you're careful.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Wrist or elbow, but I use a thermometer because I want to be bang on. So I'm gonna have to give you 0 on that.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
97?
It's pretty warm.
Huh.
But it's like, again, it's not so warm that it's gonna overheat the kid, right?
Yeah.
Because
See, that was my fear. Was
that's
like,
their body temp.
dude. See, I should have been thinking body temp this whole time. I don't know the average. Well, I do, I guess. Oh yeah, you don't want to bring them below their body temp. Why did I not start with that? Idiot.
That would have probably been the correct train of thought, but I liked where you were headed. I liked trying to
Yeah.
bring your own experience into it,
Yeah.
with my baby thing.
But I should have known because I remember one year
okay.
my parents forgot to turn their pool heater off and it got to 95 and it felt like I was like floating because like it felt like I was one with the water.
Yeah, it's
because I feel
pretty
like it
warm.
matched my body temperature.
Pretty warm. No, when we put Lai in the bath water, she's generally chilling because it's like, well, this is warm.
Yeah. So she's cold. She's chilling.
Okay, well, I mean,
come on.
chilling in the sense of like relax.
Little dad joke there. That gets me a point for sure.
That honestly, I'll give you half a point for that.
Let's go. Okay.
That was good.
I should have been thinking body temperature. I don't know what's wrong with
That's
me.
okay. It happens. Here we go. We're kind of moving away from
Get me away from numbers.
From numbers
Oh,
to
thank God.
more like, this is a hard question.
Oh, frick.
This is one that, it's very niche. Might have to be actively diapering your kid and involved in the diaper
Okay.
lore
Yeah.
to know the answer to this question, but we'll see.
Yeah. I haven't changed a diaper
What
since I was probably 13.
Oh, jeez. What is wrong with the new Huggies diapers since they switched manufacturers?
Okay.
What has been reported as an adverse?
First thing I'm saying,
Issue.
there's something wrong with the clumping. Something's wrong with their absorption.
Okay. Is that your go-to?
No, I'm working it out. So, okay, diapers, I feel like you need them to do two things, right? There's the absorption element, and because I've seen a lot of diaper ads. Since all our friends started having kids, we started getting a lot of ads for baby crap. Diapers need to be they need a good level of absorption, but then they need to stay on. That's the other thing. So there's the element of the flaps, the folding, the adhesive. And I think a lot of diapers use like a similar thing to like the tattooing, where it's like a self-adhesive, it sticks to itself kind of thing. Now, what would the issue be? My brain initially went the absorption. Either it's not absorbing enough, which really, I mean, it can't absorb too much, I would imagine. Unless you get a second factor in where it absorbs too much that it doesn't hold itself together anymore. because there's an adhesive issue. If I'm trying to think of what the average person would complain about, though, like diapers are diapers. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if this is an issue that people are actively going to notice, most people. Oh, dude, I'm putting some pieces together. I'm kind of crazy.
He's putting pieces together, guys.
If it was an absorption issue, it's not absorbing enough. I think most people would just assume their baby be pissing. You know what I mean? They're like, why would they assume this is a manufacturer? They're gonna, my baby's just pissing like crazy.
It would have to be something pretty specific to be a manufacturer defect.
Yeah, which is why I'm leaning more on like the adhesion of the flaps is a problem. They're coming loose. That's my answer. That's coming
your
loose.
answer. They're coming loose.
Yeah.
It's not the answer. It's not the answer. The adhesion's actually fine. They added a ton of blue dye into the design, and it's leaving chemical burns on babies.
Holy frick!
Yeah,
that's out of left field. That's way different.
Yeah,
than I thought.
frick you, Huggies. We returned your diapers because of that.
Is that the blue dye? That's like so you don't have to do like a refill. You can just see it.
No, it's just like part of the design, but there's so much blue in it.
But why is it blue? Like so you can see if they peed from the outside? Is that what it's supposed to be?
No, I think it's literally just a cosmetic thing. I don't know. Is the blue part of the line, niece?
I don't think so. I think they switched manufacturers to be cheaper.
And then for some reason, blue just was a cheaper make. Maybe it's not even the dye. Maybe it's the material.
Especially Cutie's manufacturer, which is in the States, a brand in the States.
Yeah.
And so that's just what they use because it's cheaper to make numbers through them. So it's a whole different design. They're just slapping the Huggies logo.
They're just slapping the Huggies logo on a different design.
The Kirkland ones.
Same with the Kirkland ones. Frick you, Kirkland. Kirkland and Huggies, the same diaper. So with that being said, I would like to take this as an opportunity to ask Rascals and Flats to sponsor. Rascals and Friends. Sorry, it used to be.
Yeah, that's a band. Rascal
Sorry,
Flats.
I got confused. Rascals and Friends. I know this to sponsor this podcast because I love you and your diapers are great.
Those are the best diapers,
And Huggies
according
sucks.
to my wife.
Rascals and Friends, or I've seen it just as Rascals.
I've always just heard as Rascals.
Yeah, either they may have changed to just Rascals. Either way, please, because I love your diapers. Huggies sucks. Kirkland sucks.
Where do we stand on Pampers?
I'm okay with Pampers. I like the Pampers newborn diaper.
I've heard that,
but lately I found that Pampers that she blows them out a lot more often. She's yet to blow out a Rascals diaper.
I've heard from some people that, and I don't know which is which, but I heard some people like if they have a little baby girl, like Huggies is better, or if they have a little baby boy, Pampers is better, or something like that.
Or Pampers fit her contour really well.
Okay,
better than any diaper in terms of like general fit.
Yeah,
but absorption,
they're just getting blown out.
Rascals blown everybody out of the park.
Huh?
Everybody, like to the point where I had like Huggies diapers. She would pee.
Yeah,
like in the night, and I would.
Did she get a burn?
No, she didn't get a burn.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness. But there was quite a few stories of burns.
Never in my I never.
It wasn't just like a one-off thing. Like people were experiencing this in the States.
But like never when you were like, oh, what's the issue?
It's a pretty niche.
I
thing.
never ever would have guessed they're hurting the baby.
Yeah.
I would have assumed like they're just less efficient.
I think they're just cheap.
Wow. That's why we're gonna use cloth diapers. Just kidding.
Have fun.
Just
All right.
kidding.
It's okay. That was a tough question. That was probably the hardest question in this entire test.
I've already forgotten the answers of the previous things.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Okay. Next question.
Can I ask you a question?
I would love for you to ask me a question.
Is this stuff locked in for you?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
This
like
never
the
goes
temperature
anywhere.
and stuff comes in, but like
Locked in.
You knew, like you didn't have to Google it. Like third day, like how many wet diapers should we have? You just knew.
Well, I kind of had an unfair advantage in that I had a whole class on this, and you go home with like a pamphlet that has like a visual pictograph,
right?
And I just kind of studied that in the hospital.
Right.
I knew.
Okay.
So that was locked in.
Fair.
And I was like, okay, she's 4 days old, but it kind of got a little murky.
How many?
Because until she gained her birth weight, we went off of not like 12 to 12. We went off of the time she was born. So day one was 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. the next day. So it kind of got awkward where it was like, okay, it's 3:55. Now we hit the end of the day. Like I just changed the diaper. This counts as this diaper, or I wait and then it counts as the next day's diaper.
How many diapers are you doing in the first like 4 days? Because it's not like, okay, you're aiming for 4 wet diapers, but you're doing more than that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're
I
doing,
mean,
like-
I think day one is 1 or 2 poopy diapers.
Yeah.
And then I think 1 or 2 wet diapers.
Yeah.
And she hit, I'd say at least 2 poopy diapers, maybe 3. But it's meconium. Like it's black.
Yeah.
And
It's not
sticky.
like, yeah.
So it's not like a ton. It's not like when you think of a baby poop, like a breastfeed poop, where
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
a ton of yellow poop. It was like little bits of black poop that was really sticky. But now it's like I've lost track. I've stopped keeping track because now you really want. Now the only number I keep in my mind now is over 4, because under 4 in a 24-hour period is like a early indication of dehydration.
Right.
So that's the
right.
only number I keep in my head now. As soon as if I can recollect 4 or more wet diapers in a day, then I feel comfortable.
Right. No,
she
I
hits-
just meant total diapers.
In a whole day?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. It's got to match like probably more than one,
It's
like 1.5
At
times
least-
per feed, right?
not that many.
Oh, really?
No, it's like 8, maybe
Oh.
10.
Okay.
Depends on the day.
Right.
Sometimes she's really going
So it's like
nuts.
0.75
I'd say I
times
changed
per
2 or
feed.
3 overnight.
Yeah.
And then, how many have I changed today? 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now, but we only did 2 overnight. So I think right now we're at 6, and it's 4 o'clock.
Huh.
So we have 8 hours left.
Right.
So we'll probably hit 9 or 10.
Okay.
By the
So
end
it's
of
a
the
little bit less than the amount of times you're feeding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think at this point too, with how old she is, she can kind of like her digestive system is regulating. Like if I have 12 glasses of water, I'm not necessarily going to pee 12 times.
Yeah. Fair.
Now I know that's obviously a
Yeah.
different metric,
I know you
but
mean.
you know what I mean.
All right. That feels good.
Good job.
Thanks.
That was a hard question.
That
Next
is tough.
question.
Did you X me on that? Give me an X on that.
I gave you a 0. Yeah.
Okay.
What is pace feeding? Specifically in relation to, I should add a caveat, bottles.
So I didn't know when you said what is pace feeding. My brain went, I don't think I know, but maybe something. And then you went in relation to bottles, and I went, okay, now I genuinely have no clue. I wasn't thinking bottles at all. Pace. Oh, see, this is where it gets murky, because I know when it comes to parenting and really a lot of health stuff, you guys love your friggin' acronyms. So, do I think PACE is an acronym, or do I think it's the word pace? Like keeping on pace. I'm going to guess it's keeping on pace. I'm going to guess it has to do with the rate at which you're drinking. So it's got to be like the pace feeding my guess, let me work through my thought process. It has to be something like how many bottles you're drinking a day. With bottles. When you say bottles, clarifying question. When you say bottles, like breast milk in bottles, or is this like a formula thing?
Yeah, it's less about the content in the bottle and more how you go about feeding with a bottle.
Oh. Okay. Okay, let me think. We fed your daughter with a bottle. That one time we watched her. And I feel like if we just let her go at it, she would have drowned herself. She was getting stuff everywhere. And Maddie, I was kind of watching this technique where Maddie was kind of doing like a... So I feel like it's something like that, where it's like the rate at which... Because like when you're doing boob, there's no way it's a steady constant. It's got to be like it's like in spurts, like when you pump. So it's got to be like the rate at how you're turning, like or allowing them to drink. Now, if that is correct, I don't know what that rate is, but that would be my guess. What pace feeding is you're pacing themselves so they don't drown in milk.
That's exactly the answer.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're even taking it a little too far, where it's just like, it's just in general, trying to match a bottle feed with
Okay.
the breastfeed
Right.
in that you are making them pace themselves.
Yeah. Because your daughter was like,
Because if
she
you
truly was just going like.
so there's a couple. Can you like give me what do you think a couple strategies are for ensuring a pace feeding with a bottle?
I mean, I think the easiest one would just be to remove it.
That's one.
Yeah.
Breaks.
Yeah. There's more.
Think about like when you're actively feeding them with the bottle, it's in their mouth. What
Yeah.
could you do to make them pace themselves?
Probably jump and scare them. Boo! Yeah. That'll stop you. It's in their mouth, and you don't just remove it.
Yeah, that is one. Like, of course,
Yeah.
that's one thing. That's what you can do. It's the main thing. Force them to take breaks.
I don't know.
Change the angle of the bottle.
Is that not the same? Oh,
So
because
you
then they're searching.
So you only fill the nipple of the bottle, like the actual. So there's the
that's
nipple,
turn.
right?
Is that different than removing? Like the turn that changes the
So,
rate
like,
at
there's-
which it.
Yeah. So there's taking it away.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of the times, like pace feeding is not something that has to happen.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
something
yeah,
we've
yeah,
chosen
yeah.
to do because it like limits nipple confusion and whatnot.
Yeah.
So a lot of time I see people feeding. They're feeding with the bottle
At like a
vertical.
Yeah.
Like
or like a
straight
45.
up.
Like it's
Yeah.
just fully going.
What we do is we feed as close to horizontal as possible.
Yeah.
So we're only filling the like it depends because you can go too much where you're actually filling the nipple with air and then they're pulling air in.
Yeah.
So you have to do just enough that the nipple is full, but like the part past the nipple is only about half full.
Right.
And so it limits the amount of how fast the milk is coming out, and it makes them work harder for it,
Yeah.
like they do on a nipple.
Right. Are there other strategies?
That's probably the only ones we use.
Yeah. Do one of
And then
these.
obviously like
Where'd it
you're
go?
using the proper nipple and flow rate.
Yeah. I was gonna say you guys had some. That was not the bottle, the stereotypical bottle nipple that I saw in cartoons growing up. It has more of a rounded reservoir.
We find she likes that nipple
Fair enough.
more than other ones.
You ever do one of these where you're like, "Where's it going? You gotta want it." Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun to do. Put your finger there and
Yeah.
this is the finger. All right, yeah. So that you know what?
Okay.
I'm giving you a 1 there because that's you got it. You got it.
I did get some help. You did say it's
That's
in
okay.
the how,
That's okay. I still give you a 1.
but do it. Grab some fries. Get in there. She sounds a little bit upset.
My daughter is a little bit upset. We'll see if my wife comes through for reinforcements.
Do you need help? Okay.
She's been going through a rough stage right now. Okay.
See, this is another thing I don't have. You went. She'll come for reinforcements, and my brain went. That terrifies me.
What terrifies you?
Just like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, sort of half crying. I'm just like. Do you need help? I don't know.
I mean,
I know she's old enough now. You can kind of read her.
she's pretty good. My wife at soothing our baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to a point where you can start to start to read the cries a little bit.
Yeah.
Based on the sounds. Like I know the difference between like a overtired cry and a hungry cry.
Right.
It's different.
Okay.
It's very different. And niece knows as well. You know any other types of cries?
State of the world cry.
Feel free to if you're having too much of a hard time, you pass her off. She can be another guest. She can She can do a guest spot on the podcast.
Yeah, Ben's got both hands ready too.
I do. I'm ready to go. Okay, next question. When and what is leap 2?
Holy frick.
My wife is like laughing off to the side. Let's start with what is leap 2. I should have phrased it differently. Let's start with what is leap 2.
Like, when is a leap?
What is a leap?
Yeah,
and then what
this
is
has got to be. It's got to be like.
and then what is leap 2? And then when is leap 2?
It's got to be markers of age.
Okay.
I feel like where it's like, or maybe not age, but like development. I know that. Okay, through this friendship of ours, I learned that you have to bring that baby back up to birth weight. But when is when a time or is when a marker?
When?
No,
in
no,
this
no.
case,
You don't have to answer that.
Okay.
I don't want too much. Like, because that's where my train of thought is going. Is when at 6 weeks it's this, or is it like when they're doing this that means you've entered the second leap? Leap is crazy. Also, it's like this sounds like a sci-fi movie. We're
Yeah.
entering the second leap.
Brace yourself. It does feel that way.
So it's gotta be. That's what I'm thinking. It's like a marker for stage of life, which then changes how you adapt to problems. Like this is the kind of thing where like people who don't have kids or friends with kids, they go, your baby's. I met a lady and she said her baby was 18 months. That's a year and a half. And I'm like, no, idiot. It's because there's so much flipping change that happens
Stuff
month
goes
to month.
down in months.
You moron.
That's why we measure it by months. Even weeks at the beginning.
Yeah, so that's what I like. It's got to be to do with that in terms of like where they should be at. Now, when is leap 2? I'm gonna go shot in the dark. It has to do with no, it doesn't. I want to say sleep, but that's just because it rhymes with leap. And then
that's impressive self-awareness of your brain.
that can't be right.
My brain said sleep because leap.
Yeah.
Leap rhyme sleep.
Well, because I was like, it's got to be a marker, and I'm like, I know sleep's a big one of like, oh, they're sleeping X amount, but I'm like, then they wouldn't call it leap. That's too close. Are we still now? I'm trying to read you. I'm doing meta quiz questions. Are we still? Your past couple questions were about eating. Are we talking about eating still?
He's trying to figure out how I built this test.
Yeah.
What's my brain doing? I do that with tests all the time.
Yeah. You're like, are we still in this
how
unit?
Does this teacher think?
Are we still in this unit? Because all the past questions were in this unit. Are we still talking about this unit? Okay. Leap 2. Yeah, I want. They do so little when they're young. That's the thing. Like, I know there's big stages of like, now they can roll over and crap, but like, she's not doing that. It's all about how long they're awake and how long they're asleep. That's really the only thing that matters, and how much food they're eating.
Sure.
Sometimes they're grabbing stuff, but that's instinctual. But don't they lose some stuff? Some stuff they have at birth, and then
Reflexes,
they lose.
yeah.
Then they lose some of those. Leap 2. Okay. This is something you guys are either going through or about to go through. I'm reading Anissa. She said it feels like that sometimes, based off of something I said. Leap 2. When does it happen? What's the marker that you know? I have to go with my gut. It's leap 2 happens after they're back to birth weight and they're able to sleep. It can't be sleep.
How much sleep? Your sleep does rhyme with leap, so it has to be close. What? How much sleep? When they get sleep?
For
minutes.
This is truly where my realm of knowledge has I don't know.
It's a hard
2 hours
question.
at a time.
I didn't know what it was until I was a parent.
Yeah, I know it's got to be some sort of marker of age and development. In terms of when, I would say I you know what? Let's give something clear and concise, because the test, I don't want any confusion for whoever's marking my test. So I'm going to say after they're back to birth weight is leap 2.
No.
Okay.
No, technically it is after.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the marker.
Okay.
It is approximately during 6 to 8 weeks old. They go through leap 2.
Oh, it is just an age thing.
It is just an age thing.
Frick, I was going based off of...
It does suck. We're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It is. You are right though. It
Right.
is a massive cognitive leap.
Right.
So because it's 6 to 8 weeks, it's less a physical leap. So it's less like they suddenly can roll over and they can suddenly do physical things. It's more of like they go from sort of potato, not really doing much, to massive cognitive leap. Suddenly they're interacting with you. They can see you
Yeah.
more.
I do remember this. I remember learning this once.
Yeah, so that's leap 2. But
Okay.
what it comes with is just remarkable fussiness
Yeah.
and
Because
intense crying.
they're gaining awareness of being alive.
And I think it's just so much energy expenditure on their body. That
Right.
it just comes with a whole bunch of stuff.
Overstimulation
We're right in the
and-
middle of it. We had a night the other night where I think she cried from like 5 till midnight, nonstop. So there was that.
Well, you just put some headphones on.
I will also cry from that.
Nice.
It was just me. Leap 2. That's leap 2. But I'm giving you half a mark because you got it right in what a leap is.
I knew it was developmental. I sat in on a couple of Maddie's developmental psych classes.
Big development happens around 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You talk to a parent of an early newborn baby, they're kind of going to talk about how that
There's like
at
an
some point-
explosion of like neurons firing
at
and
some
being
point
formed.
during that stretch, you're gonna have like a baby going bonkers.
Okay. How many more questions do we get?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, I got to start going quicker.
What time are we at?
45.
Oh, jeez, 45 minutes.
I know.
Okay, well,
I've been really working through these questions.
I can cut a couple.
No. Don't. I need the full quiz.
How long is breast milk good at room temperature and in the fridge?
Okay.
It's like pumped
Yeah.
breast milk.
This feels like a quiz now. This is when I'm like floundering on a quiz and I look at the time and I'm like, I've got how much time left? How long is room temperature breast milk good for? Okay. Thought process. It's warm in boob. But post boob, air. Bacteria. Well, I just remember I'm thinking body temp again. Okay. Fridge? Can you freeze breast milk? I don't know. Don't answer that. Okay, I'm going gut on this. I'm going to say that's way too long.
Give me the answer.
Well, I
Give me the answer.
was gonna say room temp 6 to 8 hours, but no one's leaving it out for that long. That's insane. I want to say fridge. I want to say. Oh my gosh. Am I second guessing myself because no one would ever let it get that long, or is it like when it's safe? You know what I mean? Like I wanted to say 72 hours, but like that's who's storing up breast milk. You're gonna use it, so I gotta go lower. I'm gonna say 24 hours fridge, and I'm gonna say 4 hours room temp.
Whoa, 4 hours room temp is correct.
Okay.
It's 4 days.
Oh, I was
fridge.
gonna say 72 hours. That's way closer.
So some people go 666 or 555 and 444. We go 444.
4 hours,
So
4 days.
4 hours room temp, 4 days fridge, 4 months frozen.
If it's in that freezer.
If it's-
freezer's like a year.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's in a
Right,
if
'cause
it's
like
in a
getting
fridge
locked
freezer.
down there longer.
Some people do 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months.
Yeah,
Some
or
people do
yeah.
6 hours, 6 days, 6 months. 4. I've heard 6. I'm comfortable with 4.
Can I ask you a question?
But
though?
you getting half a point though because 4 hours.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you ever? Is it ever 4 days?
I think because we don't exclusively bottle feed.
Yeah.
If you exclusively bottle fed, there's no way you're ever getting to 4 days.
because you're like it's just
because you're going to use the
cycling.
bottle.
Yeah.
But sometimes though, like niece will pump, and there's just no time in 4 days where we find ourselves needing a bottle.
Yeah.
Because she is available and able to breastfeed at all times.
Can I say something that's very rude?
Sure.
So many times on this podcast, I feel a sense of superiority to you because I know some stupid internet thing and I see all these podcast dynamics between two male friends, and I always look at them and I go, man, thank God I'm not the dumb one. Not that you're the dumb one. I just never thought we had a dumb one. And I know this episode I'm the dumb one.
You're not the dumb one.
I'm
dealing with a
actively
situation.
learning.
I did this. I thought this would be funny because there's no
No, and
reason you should know any of this.
But I like it. This is a dynamic I don't think we've ever done before.
yeah, you usually know a lot more random stuff than I do.
So this is good. Okay, I like that. 444.
So I'm gonna give you half a point.
I like a half point. 4 hours felt right to me.
4 hours is a good one.
I was gonna say
All right.
8, But that's
Nah,
yeah,
it's too
that's
long.
way too long.
at room temp. Okay. This is kind of a subjective question.
Okay.
Gotta
Gotta show the work. Gotta show the work.
But I would argue that there is a correct answer.
Okay.
If you have a 0 to 3 month drawer for clothing, okay,
Yeah.
and you have a 3 to 6 month drawer,
Yeah.
and you find a piece of clothing that says 3 months, what drawer does it go in?
0 to 3 months, 36 months.
Again, it's subjective, but I would argue that's the
Okay.
correct answer.
Okay. So there's two ways I'm thinking this, okay? But it's based on use case. So
Okay.
my first answer is it would be the 0 to 3 month drawer because it's going to get used sooner rather than later. Like, because I'm going to be using that stuff anyway. And there's going to be some overlap where they could probably fit into something in 3 months, but they're probably still fitting into 2 month stuff. So why would it be in a separate drawer? My other answer is it depends on what the item is. Because if they're wearing, like, I don't, this is again my lack of knowledge. I don't really know what kids wear at that age outside of like onesies and stuff. And I feel like, knowing the way I live my life with my wife, there would definitely be a chance where we're in a situation where it's been a hectic week, we didn't get to laundry, and they need an article of clothing, and we're putting something on that's a little bigger than they would need
Right.
just to have them clothed. So
Right.
I think it's going in the 0 to 3 month because I think they're going to use it, and I also like the logic of there's going to be, it's a range on what fits, so they're still going to be wearing 2 month and some 3 month stuff. That's my answer.
Absolutely correct.
Oh yeah, baby.
If you put it in the 3 to 6 month drawer, you're insane.
Doesn't make sense to
You're
me.
insane.
Yeah.
You're insane. It's just bonkers, bananas, nuts. It goes in that one. Good job. Okay.
This feels like, I have to say, and I don't want, like, this feels like it's based on an argument you had with like a family member.
No. I'm gonna come back to a couple of these questions because they're not really as fun. According to the APA, American Pediatric Association.
Yep. Does that
When-
still exist under this administration?
I hope. When is the recommended time to move an infant to their own room?
8 months.
Whoa, that was a quick answer.
I feel
6
like-
months, but
Is it
close.
6?
It's 6 months is the recommended time currently.
I was gonna say,
some people wait a year,
Yeah.
but the current data says 6 months.
Is this, okay, clarifying, is this recommended 6 months, or it's like that's the earliest you could do it?
I guess you could argue that's the earliest you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So 8 months, I'll give you half a point. That's a good point. You brought up a good point. Because some people will wait a year, but 6 months is what APA says.
Yeah, that's just, I've heard Maddie say 8 months before, talking about like crib in room.
I could argue. You could argue 8 months. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm gonna have a point.
Cool.
When is the correct time to transition an infant out of a swaddle? So sleep.
6 p.m. No. Into wearing like PJs, PJ onesie.
Into not using a swaddle for sleep.
See, again, this is a huge blind spot. Like swaddle to me, that's like newborn stuff. Like I feel like we're working in weeks rather than months. Like, this is 0 to 1 is so hard, like, for me to identify. Maddie used to work at like a daycare, and so she can kind of tell. She
Right.
sees like a baby, she's like, oh, they're probably like 6 months old, and I'm
Right.
like, that's
do
a
you know?
baby.
Yeah.
Like
can
until
tell.
they're 1, I don't know. And
Right.
even 1, like I remember someone's like, I'm like looking at a kid. I'm like, this kid is a baby, and they're like, he's 1, and I'm like, huh?
How are you 1?
You should be walking around.
Come
Like,
on.
I don't. The developmental stage is like that.
Right.
Okay, swaddle.
With the arms in.
Yeah, because they're gonna claw their eyes out and crap.
Wake themselves up.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm gonna say 12 weeks.
12 weeks. So here's the funny thing about this.
Oh no.
About how your brain has worked here.
Yeah.
You back in the leap question.
Yeah.
You deliberated whether or not when meant a developmental stage
Oh,
or
no!
a specific time. And you did not do the same deliberation this time because it's not a specific time. It's when they show signs of rolling over. So you can't pin their arms in anymore.
Right.
Because they'll roll over on their face.
Right.
So when a baby looks like they can roll over, you take their hands out of the swaddle.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When is the rough developmental period where they will be rolling over?
That's a good question. I don't know. Hey, niece. Between 2 and 3 months. So that would be
12 weeks.
So you're
Okay.
I'll give you half a point.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
But it's funny. It was just funny
Yeah,
because you deliberated.
It's because I got the
on
first one
what
wrong.
when meant, and then you didn't do it.
I got
for
the
this
first one wrong. See, this is, and I know this about babies, is so much is based about behavior and not a timeline because there's so much range in terms of
Yeah,
like
some babies
healthy
roll over
development.
really
yeah.
early.
And some, the people are like, oh, my baby actually learned how to walk at 8 months. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They're supposed to crawl first to develop strong knees. Babies don't have kneecaps.
So for this, correction. Google says 3 to 6 months.
That's still 12 weeks.
That's still 12 weeks. I'll give it to you. I'll give you half a point. Okay. How much time are we at?
We're good.
All right, I'm gonna drop. Wait, you ready? No. I'll do a final question.
No. Give me all the questions. I'm just gonna work quick.
Okay.
It's a quiz mode, Ben.
Okay. All right.
Class is ending soon. Lunch
All
is
right.
coming up.
All right. From which direction are the straps on a car seat supposed to come over the shoulders from?
I don't even know what you're asking me. North? Like, what do you mean? From which direction?
Below, same level, or above?
Oh,
shoulder.
okay. I didn't even know below was an option. I'm going to say same level.
It's below.
Ah, what the heck? Below? What does that mean?
It comes from.
Oh, it comes
up,
from behind.
behind, below their shoulder level, up over their shoulder.
I was thinking like...
No,
like
from
under
behind.
their
Like when
armpits.
you put them through the loops on a car seat. You ever seen a car seat?
Yeah.
Right, you don't want to have the loops too high, so it's coming from above. It comes
Right, 'cause
below,
that'll hurt their
so it's
little
wrapping
neck.
around their shoulder.
Right.
And they'll yank up rather than yanking straight,
I see.
or there'll be too much stuff. I'm gonna give you 0 there,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
That's okay.
I guess, see, that's the kind of question where I was like, I don't even know what's being asked.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
I was like, diagonally? What do you-
This one you should be able to crush. Name 3 quote bougie unquote stroller brands.
Okay, we got Uppa Baby.
Nice, that's 1.
The Nuna.
Nice, that's 2. Again, subjective because some people might not consider certain things bougie. I think Uppa Baby and Nuna are clearly bougie. I'm interested to hear what you might say for a
Those
third
are the
one.
big 2 for me. Now, I've heard tell. Here's the problem, okay? Because I'm a bougie boy.
Okay.
Sort of. Maddie's bougie. So
Right.
she's name dropped so many where she goes, these are kind of like the dupe version of these.
Yep.
And my brain goes, I'm not even locking that information in because we would never buy one of those.
Right.
If we're going to get bougie, we're getting bougie.
Right.
I don't want bougie. I want like a City Select or something.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
City Select.
Yeah.
It's functional.
I'm
a huge City Select boy.
I've heard a lot of people talk about doing travel strollers as their main stroller. It's less storage, but it's real easy to pack and move.
City Select is unbelievable. Please sponsor us.
In terms of
Thanks, love.
now, I even
I'll see
remember
if he says that one.
I even remember talking to you because there was one that you I think were looking at as like you were like it's kind of like the Nuna, but it's not. And I don't remember what that was. I think genuinely. Wait, hold up. There's gotta be. There has to be There just has to be a Gerber stroller.
Gerber.
Isn't that a baby brand thing? Or is that just food?
Like baby food.
Is that just food? I thought they did everything.
Does Gerber make a stroller? No.
Ah!
I'll give you one more guess.
So, no, dude, genuinely, the only 3 strollers I think I know, the only reason I know City Select is from you, the only other 2 I know are Uppa Baby and Nuna.
Okay. All right. I would have accepted Bugaboo.
Oh, I have heard of that.
I would have accepted Bugaboo. I would have accepted Cybex.
Cybex?
Yeah.
What is this, a Terminator movie?
Cybex.
I've never heard of that before
They
in my
make
life.
awesome strollers.
Okay.
What else would you have accepted, love? Silver Cross, yeah.
Like for vampires? What do you mean?
Isn't Silver a werewolf?
Oh, it's a werewolf thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
All right. I'll give you...
Is that a 2 out of 3 or what do we?
I'll give you 0.66 points.
Nice.
All right. Where are we at now? I asked that.
That's
I asked that. Okay, 2 questions.
Okay, here we go.
What is day-night confusion, and what are 2 strategies to prevent it?
Okay, well, that day-night confusion's got to be babies struggling to figure out when's nighttime, daytime.
Correct.
Strategies. You got to darken the room.
When?
At night.
Mm-hmm.
And make, if it's daytime, have light on. You don't want
Perfect.
them napping in the dark during the day because then they're going to get confused that it's night. So that's got to be strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is... Well, with a parrot, you put a blanket over their cage.
You do put a blanket over the baby's head. Yes. Good job. Wouldn't recommend that.
Oh, okay. Where they nap. You don't nap where they sleep during the... Like, you don't want them to take a nap during the day where they sleep at night. It's got to be where they nap and nighttime is the light.
Would you accept that one, niece?
Oh, no. She started with
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. When are you most concerned about day-night confusion?
Well,
not even sure I know
you
the
definitely
answer to
want to be pretty concerned. Like, you don't want them to be thinking it's night when it's during the day.
Age. What age?
When they're ready to roll over. Is this a time thing or
This is a physical age, yeah.
Oh no! Dude, leap 1 or leap 2. Leap 2.
During leap 2? just as a fresh newborn.
But newborn is only for the first 3 months.
I'll give it to him. I'm going to give him a full point.
What other strategies are there?
Right.
Yeah.
Because their circadian rhythm is working. Yeah, that's one. I go loud environment during the day, quiet environment at night.
Sound.
Yeah,
I knew there was something sound, but I couldn't figure out what it was.
I will. Yeah. So in along your brightness thing specifically, all overhead lights get turned off in our house after 7 p.m.
Yeah.
It's only lamps.
We did talk about this the other
Yeah.
day. You have no problem with volume when she's napping
Yeah.
during the day.
Structured bedtime.
Yeah.
Structured wake up time.
Yeah.
You want to get up at a certain time of the day when it's bright out so you can get them out and remind them that it's day. Yeah. Exposure to sunlight.
Right.
There's a lot of things.
Okay.
But that's kind of, you kind of banged that.
It's kind of
I'll
in the
give
name.
you 1 point.
It's kind of in the name.
All right. Last question. Final question.
I just knew the bed thing because I'm like, they say that you shouldn't like eat or watch movies in your own bed because your brain gets confused.
It is a thing for babies for sure when their circadian rhythm is fricked. Okay, 4 bottle-fed babies.
Yeah.
Whether exclusively bottle-fed or bottle-fed at some point.
Okay.
Which age is the recommended time to transition from a slow flow
Yeah.
to a medium flow nipple?
Brother, I'm telling you, I'm going again. I'm going it because in Maddie's developmental psych class, I remember it was like this age, blah, 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 blah. Like so much stuff happens. Like
Right.
some stuff is kind of grouped together.
Right.
So I'm saying 12 weeks.
12 weeks?
I'm saying 3
so
months.
3 months? It's 2 months.
No.
That's close, though.
Yeah, but it's
I'm going to have to give you a
yeah,
zero.
that's a 0.
And that's the end.
That's the end of the quiz.
Of our quiz.
What I score?
Let's have a look.
Give me a percentage. Give me a grade, a letter grade. Do the math. This was fun,
Right?
dude. I'm ready. Oh wait, and you have your not your letter grade. You have your scale of whether I'm ready or not.
What? What final test? Oh, yeah. Get him to fold the stroller up and refold it down.
That's okay, but that's impossible. You didn't come in with that knowledge. You read an instruction
I didn't come
manual.
in with these knowledge either. No, it's
I
we'll
thought
do
you
that
were-
different episode.
I thought you were gonna make me. That would be funny too, actually, because then we could film that, trial
Let's
that
do it.
process. I thought you were gonna make me change your
I'll get you to do a whole
daughter.
bunch of stuff. I'll get set up a whole course for you.
Yeah.
This is the on paper. Next episode is the practical.
I'm doing my G2.
component.
I'm getting my G2.
Yeah, this is the G1 of parenting. Come back next week for the G2 of
Yeah.
parenting. Practical.
Dude, I'm gonna be
Dude, I'll set up a
freaking.
whole freaking course for you.
I'm gonna be freaking changing diapers on teddy bears like
Dude, I'm
you.
literally gonna set up a course for you.
I'm ready.
That's what we're gonna do next week.
That's
Ian.
fun.
Okay. 1 sec. I'm doing math.
Yep. Do the math. Do the math, math boy. Big city slicker doing the math. I told my coworker I was gonna be back in like an hour. That's so funny. See you later, Dan. I have to go back though. I left my stuff there. What the hell? Also have to pee so bad.
All right.
That's a wet diaper.
14 questions.
Yeah.
You got a 7.66.
Oh, that's bad.
That's right in the middle. So that is prepared to parent.
Okay. I like that.
I would argue
As someone who has has never read a book.
I would argue that is prepared to parent.
Okay. Because you know.
And then there's good parent, exceptional parent to go from there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that if you were given adequate time to study for this test,
Yeah.
you would have crushed exceptional.
Oh, 100%.
So I think you're right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Having done no preparation to be a parent.
I'm going to try and save face. I think if I got 14 out of 14, you should be concerned about me.
Like you've been doing too much research? Or like
Yeah.
your wife's pregnant and you haven't told anybody?
Yeah. But.
Wow. That was Judah. I didn't tell Judah about that. He just got it sprung on him, and I think he did a pretty dang good job.
I passed.
You passed. You got a 54%.
Yeah. I went into this quiz with no study.
No study.
I did,
You passed.
I did better than when I got my did my first G1 test.
I argue that's ready to parent.
Okay.
Judah is ready to be a dad.
Yeah. I wouldn't be great. I would not be a good dad right now.
Yeah, but if you get again, like I said, this is a base. There are
Yeah.
some people who would have gotten 2 out of 14 on this test, and that is needs improvement for parenting.
It's fair.
Well, thanks for listening to the Barely Cool podcast. Come back next week for Judah's G2 parenting, how to practically parent.
I'm ready.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for being a good sport. That was fun.
That was very fun. I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to find some city select manuals or something.
Dude,
I
City
gotta
Select
learn
is
how to
on
freaking. I gotta learn how to fold.
I'll
up
give you a
this
chance to
frickin'
actually
stroller.
study for this one.
I gotta learn how to freaking stroller.
Practical skills.
I already
next
know.
week.
I know the strat on holding the. I know the strat on holding the frickin' carrier.
Oh yeah, you know the master strat.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week. That was fun.